What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering a topic that you guys have been asking about for quite some time, and I wanted to clear up some rumors because there's a lot of people that have doubts about this, but I'm going into my story about how I started in the paranormal. If you guys are following me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that other stuff, I've told this story before, but I know a lot of you guys don't follow me on those other platforms. All of those are linked down below, though, if you guys do want to follow me over there and you don't already. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. Subscribe to Haunted Nights, the main channel. Drop a like on this video and drop a comment for me right before we get into this story. But yeah, guys, let's get into how I started my paranormal journey and how I ended up here on YouTube. So this is actually super good timing because May 23rd, 2014 is when I went on my first ever ghost hunt, which is absolutely crazy to think about. I went to a location known as the Parks Bentley Place in Moreau. It's a location that we visited on a school field trip way back in the day as well. My mom actually used to work with Steve's wife, and they had talked about how I liked the ghost hunting TV shows and stuff like that. So they let us know that there was a public event going on at the Parks Bentley house, and they invited us to go. And that's pretty much history. I went to the public ghost hunt. I thought it was super, super cool. I kept showing up to events, and eventually they invited me to join the group, Southlands Falls Paranormal Society. And I began hosting these public events and doing residential cases with them, going on these bigger group trips, during the summer. It was a really, really cool time. Now, I know some people have cast some doubt onto my stories here in the past, so I'm going to try to provide some receipts for you. There is a picture out there somewhere of me after the first ever ghost hunt. It's me in the house that I was living in at the time. I had a t-shirt that said Southlands Falls Paranormal Society guest investigator. I can't find that picture right now. I've been looking for it all night, but it exists out there somewhere. So I'm sure it's in my phone somewhere. I'm sure it's on Facebook or Instagram somewhere. I just have to find it. Maybe one of these days I'll post it on one of the other socials if I can find it. So make sure you follow me on all the other socials just in case. But yeah, basically May 23rd, 2014, I went on my first ever ghost hunt at the Parks Bentley house. And then I began showing up to public events at the Washington County Jail, the Salem Jail that we've covered on Haunted Nights. I went to Wilson Castle. And after a while of attending these public events, they invited me to join the group because it was also a good way to kind of step outside of my comfort zone. I was a very shy, kind of reserved kid, and my parents thought it'd be good to kind of put me in a position to lead tours and kind of speak more with the public. It was a good symbiotic relationship, I guess. They would have another person to help run tours and help review evidence during the public investigations, and then I would also be able to step outside of my comfort zone and explore a hobby at the same time. It was pretty cool. But as I said, just a few receipts here. So this picture right here, it says June 18th, 2015. I'm going to crop it a little bit, but this is just me standing in the corner in my Southlands Falls Paranormal Society shirt, looking totally spaced out. I don't know what I'm thinking there. That's actually at the Parks Bentley house. So that's kind of funny that I found that picture. Here's another picture of me. This is right after our first big group trip that I could attend. We went to Hillview Manor in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. This is me in my Hillview Manor shirt. I was so freaking hyped to go to that spot. It was terrifying. Hated pretty much every second of it, but it was super cool in retrospect to experience that location. We want to get back there too. We haven't been back there to film for Haunted Nights yet, and we want to get back there. So hopefully soon we will. But here's another picture of me in my camo shorts, wearing my Hillview Manor t-shirt. I checked out, made it, I survived. But basically, all throughout middle school and for most of high school, I think all of high school, honestly, I was in SGFPS doing these public events. Here's another picture of me handing out, it looks like batteries to someone who was investigating with us, either another investigator we had on the team or someone who attended the public events. I think this picture is from 2016 or 2017, not entirely sure. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's just a sampling of all the pictures from not only my personal pictures, but from the Southlands Falls Paranormal Society page. Again, this has all been publicly posted, so if people who have their doubts really did their research, they could easily find that I've been ghost hunting for as long as I said I have been, but I guess that's too difficult. But growing up, I always loved history. Even today, I'm a huge history buff. As I said in the last video, Exploring Billy Creek, I love learning about history. I love visiting historical locations and learning new things. I also watched the TV shows growing up. I watched Ghost Adventures, I watched Ghost Hunters, Taps, My Celebrity Ghost Story, all the reenactment type shows as well, like A Haunting. And I thought it was just really fascinating just to think that there was something after, after death, after this life, it doesn't end. I always found that prospect to be very, very interesting. And I grew up in a house where we always had weird stuff like that happen. I remember falling asleep one day and I got like a bloody nose. Guys, there's a whole thing. Hold on. So like Let me paint the picture for you. It's kind of hard unless you have the full context. So I had a loft bed, so I had to take a ladder up to where my bed was, and I had popcorn ceiling. So I woke up one day and my nose was touching the popcorn ceiling, but there was a good amount of clearance. Like if I sat up in the bed, like my head would touch, but like there was space. It's not like when I'm laying on the bed, I'm that close to the ceiling. You know what I mean? So one day I woke up and my nose was touching the ceiling. So I kind of freaked out and like, what the hell's going on? And I remember falling back down to my bed and immediately getting a bloody nose. That was a really scary experience for me. I always say that I want to float on the Haunted Nights channel. I don't know if I floated. I don't know if I somehow like pushed myself off the bed in my sleep and woke up when I was in midair. I don't know what happened, but that was a super weird experience that I've always kind of remembered. I remember trying to fall asleep, watching TV, playing video games, whatever I was doing that night and hearing footsteps in my hallway. So I'd open my door and nobody would be there. That always kind of freaked me out. It was terrifying because I hated horror movies growing up. So hearing stuff that is like of horror movies happening in my hallway or happening in my house terrified me when I was younger, but now I look for it pretty much every single day. So that's cool. It was basically a combination of all these things that got me into the paranormal. I decided to attend the first public event that I went to back in 2014, May 23rd, 2014. I went on that ghost hunt and seeing devices go off with no possible explanation, like the flashlight method, a lot of people are skeptical about flashlights, right? But I feel like these devices aren't infallible, right? They're not foolproof, they're not perfect, but sometimes I feel like it goes past coincidence. If you have a flashlight, you have a blue flashlight, you have a red flashlight set up. If you point at the blue flashlight and you say, if you're here right now, can you turn this on? It turns on. Then you go, can you turn on the red flashlight? Red flashlight turns on, turn them both off at the same time, they both turn off. I feel like once you get past a few steps, it starts escaping the realm of coincidence. You know what I mean? But yeah, I attended this first public ghost hunt that I went to, and seeing these devices go off, hearing disembodied voices, hearing voices through the spirit box, seeing flashlights turn on and off when nobody is around them in response to questions was just amazing because it's like you watch the TV shows and people are like, I don't know if it's real, I don't know if it's rigged, I don't know if it's just for the camera, but being there and seeing it happen in front of my eyes was incredible. And then later joining SGFPS, seeing the behind the scenes and seeing that actually nothing is rigged. We walk into a room, we set up the equipment, and if nothing happens, nothing happens. That's just how it goes. Like, that was really validating to know that every time you walk into a haunted building, you're not going to have something absolutely crazy. I mean, you guys have seen it on the Haunted Nights channel. There's a lot of times when we spend the entire video just telling jokes or just kind of bantering back and forth. We'll get maybe a single REM pod hit. We think that we hear something down the hallway, and that'll be it for the entire video. That's how ghost hunting is. A lot of it is like fishing. You wait for something to happen and stuff doesn't happen every single night. There have been many, many times filming for YouTube where we've sat in a location for 14, 15 hours just filming, trying to get enough for an hour-long video just because it's so freaking quiet, nothing is happening. We just have to stay up long enough to get a video. So, speaking of YouTube, actually, how I got into YouTube. So, 2019, I enlisted into U.S. Army Reserves. I planned on going into the military. I thought ghost hunting was a fun hobby, but it was kind of a thing that I did through high school, and that was going to be it. Steve launched Haunted Nights in 2019. He got the event company going, and I enlisted in the Army. I was preparing to go into a law enforcement or Homeland Security career field. And then right before I went to basic training, we filmed with Destination Fear for the Saratoga County Homestead. After I got out of basic training, Sam and Colby reached out because they saw the homestead on Destination Fear. They wanted to film it. We filmed the two videos of Sam and Colby at Wilson Castle and the homestead. And we thought, again, that was going to be it. We thought it was going to be two videos, kind of get a foot in the door in social media. We started doing more Instagram live streams, and that was pretty much it. We thought that was going to be the extent of it. Then they reached out for Hell Week. We went to Waverly Hills with them. Then we did OSR, we did Madison Seminary, we did Fairfield County Infirmary, and then that year we also did Trans-Allegheny for Hell Week. That was 2022, which is kind of crazy to think about. That was a long time ago. But we didn't have a YouTube channel until that last video at Tala. I mean, I grew up wanting to do YouTube. I thought it would always be really, really cool to build my own community of people that are interested in the paranormal, interested in, exploring and seeing life's adventures together. Because I remember growing up and watching people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, FaZe Rug, all these different creators that had such positive communities and they had such fun videos. If I had a bad day at work, a bad day at school, whatever the case may be, I really enjoyed just kind of shutting my door in my room, putting my headphones on, putting my AirPods in, whatever, just watching a YouTube video and kind of unwinding, even for only 30 minutes. Some days if it was a bad day, maybe like a couple hours, but no, it's a really cool experience, I guess, and I'm glad to be able to give back to that because now over on the Haunted Nights channel, we get a lot of those comments of people saying, "You helped me get through hard days. I love how you guys banter and kind of have fun with it. Your jokes make me laugh even when I'm having a bad day." So I guess it's kind of just like it's like a full circle moment, you know what I mean? Giving back to something I took from when I was younger is just kind of it's very rewarding. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, I guess. But yeah, Steve didn't really want to do YouTube. And I kept kind of bringing it up. I kept kind of egging him on. And I'm like, yo, let's just do one video. Let's try it. Let's try it. We went to the Conjuring house. We ended up getting monetized on the Haunted Nights channel within the first day, which was freaking nuts. We did not expect that amount of support to just like emerge from the woodworks. It was insane, but it's opened up a lot of really cool doors for us. We've met a lot of really cool friends. We've been able to visit a lot of really cool locations that I don't think I ever would have had the chance to visit otherwise. Now, of course, as we saw, what was it, last month, it comes with drama as well. There's always people who make assumptions on where you came from or your motivations or what you do in your videos. But the truth is, I just love ghost hunting. I love history. I love traveling. I love creating content for you guys to enjoy. What we do in the Haunted Nights videos, it's literally like we did back in SGFPS. We set up equipment, we sit in empty rooms in these abandoned buildings, and we ask questions. If nothing happens, nothing happens. We'll sit there, we'll banter, we'll talk about the history, we'll try to make connections from anything that happened that night. But, it's like, it's just a passion that I've had since I was in middle school. Again, to be in a position where I'm giving back to a system I kind of took from, to be able to brighten some of your guys' days is just a really rewarding feeling. It's been so fun being able to meet so many of you guys, not only online, but in person at our public ghost hunts. Traveling, again, I never would have imagined that I'd ever visit the West Coast, not only once, but multiple times. We've hit 36 or 37 states. We visited one spot in Canada so far. We're setting up a trip to the UK that'll be over the summer. I mean, I had the opportunity to travel a good amount with the army, but I never would have expected that a job, like a civilian job, would permit me to have these opportunities. I never thought YouTube would be in the cards for me. When I was younger, I had a Call of Duty channel. I would post like Call of Duty montages. I was trying to get into phase. I do sniping, I do Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that. And I thought I was going to be a gaming YouTuber. After probably like a year of uploading, I decided it wasn't for me because I wasn't really getting any traction. Figured I tried it, is what it is. It's not for me. And I don't know, life had a weird way of kind of coming full circle and kind of reintroducing me into one of my passions, one of the things that I used to love to do. Guys, it's so weird. I don't know. But yeah, long story short, I went to one of Steve's public ghost hunts. It was a fundraiser. That's one thing I forgot to mention too. All of the events that we did were fundraisers. So half the money would go to the location that we were investigating, half the money would go to the nonprofit organization that we had, and then at the end of the year, the nonprofit would pool all the money together that we had from events throughout the year, and we would have like an all expenses paid group trip to go ghost hunt. We had an 8 system DVR camera that we would, we'd set up cameras around the location and we would all take turns reviewing the evidence. It was a really cool experience to grow up with. And if you guys follow me again on TikTok or any of the other social medias, I talk a good amount about historical preservation. That's one of my huge passions. We have so many, so many, so many cool locations all throughout the US, all throughout the world that are in danger of being lost because of disrepair, because of vandalism. I mean, the Saratoga County Homestead is a great example of this. It's been abandoned longer than it was in operation, and for at least the past 10, 15 years, it's basically been totally neglected. All the windows have been smashed out, the fences have been ripped open, walls have been broken out. Some walls have even been kicked over, some of the plaster walls and whatnot there. Bricks have been thrown through the windows, toilets have been thrown out into the yard. It's a whole thing. I mean, you guys have seen the videos from the homestead, I'm sure. But it's been such a fun experience getting into social media because, again, I never expected to do this. Growing up, I was always so self-conscious. I was always so shy and reserved. So to now sit in front of a camera every single week, sometimes every single day between live streams, filming, Instagram stories, TikToks, etc. I never would have saw this in my cards in my future, but here we are. So if any of you guys had any doubts that I didn't start ghost hunting when I was 12, or I didn't start ghost hunting in 2014, whatever the case may be. I hope this clears up a little bit for you, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about this story. Also, in terms of channel updates, I'm thinking about getting a new camera. Now, one thing that I learned after being on the debunking videos is my video quality and my audio quality varies a lot from other creators, which is something that I didn't really notice until I was featured in those reviews or those debunking videos. So plan over the next few months is to upgrade my camera, and then I'm going to be doing some more merch drops here as we get closer to the summer. We have some really cool projects that we'll be releasing over the summer as well. We're setting up some collabs. We're going to a ton of locations that you guys do not want to miss. So make sure you subscribe to not only this channel, but the main channel, Haunted Nights, as well. That is linked down below. Again, all my socials are linked down below. And just kind of a final thought as well. I brought up the debunkers a few times here, but I just want to make it clear that I have no ill will, I have no ill resentment or anything like that against them. I'm not going to make a response video. I've gotten a few DMs asking about it. I'm not making a response video because I feel like at this point it's run its course for the first part. Um, everybody that I've had dialogues with, I've only watched two of the videos, but everyone that I had dialogues with, it's clear that we come from different schools of thought in terms of the paranormal, and that's fine. I think we can agree to disagree. We can coexist. It's cool. And the way that some of the conversations transpired, it's not constructive. It's not going to be a productive conversation. So I don't think it's good to invest my energy into something that is going to inherently be negative. You know what I mean? We also want to start doing live streams at haunted locations again, because we love doing the behind the scenes live streams for not only our subscribers on TikTok, Instagram, etc., but we also want to start doing some live streams to kind of show, to kind of reinforce that we are authentic. If you guys have been around for a while, then I'm sure we don't have to prove to you guys. A lot of you guys have been to public events where you see we're exactly the same as we are on camera, but I have also gotten a few DMs asking about the live streams and where they went. Honestly, we're just on the road so much, it has become less feasible. We've had a good string of trips where we investigate sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. So by the time we get halfway through the trip, we're absolutely exhausted. And you guys have noticed that in the Haunted Nights videos as well. We've gotten a lot of comments picking up on us being very, very tired or looking apathetic or not really interested in the ghost hunt. And I think that affects the activity as well. If we walk into a location, we're absolutely drained and just not really firing on all cylinders. I think the energies of the location pick up on that as well. So we kind of cut down on live streams. So hopefully this summer, as we get into the busy season now, we will be able to reintroduce them and do some more live streams with you guys. But long story short, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Big thank you to everyone who donated via the Venmo, all the members here on this channel and on the Haunted Nights channel, and of course, all of my subscribers on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. You guys are the reason that I'm really able to continue with content creation. I talked a lot about it during my New Year's series, my past, present, and future series. So if you guys haven't seen that, make sure you go back and watch that, check that out to get some more insight into that. But that's all I got for you today, guys. I've been ghost hunting for 11 years, May 23rd, and I'm excited to see where the next 11 years brings me, whether it is into a career into Homeland Security or going full time with the Army, or if it's a TV show, if it's just going full force into YouTube, both with this channel and Haunted Nights, or wherever the winds take me. I don't know. It's very unpredictable, and it's been a really fun ride so far. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.